It's the beauty of a Tour de France for the cyclists as well as for us as we watch these beautiful pictures. We're now in Paris. The Tour de France has just finished with a final stage of 102 miles here into the heart of the town. And we have seen a great result all round. Let's have a look then at the Cadillac Performance highlights of the day. As we move out to the start here, in yellow, Contador, in white, Andy Schleck, the polka dot of Franco Pellizotti. Just off camera, the green jersey there of Thor Hushovd. They were the principals. A little chat en route between Frank Schleck and Lance Armstrong. Nobody in any hurry to reach Paris.
No, I think everybody, after a very tough last week of the Tour de France, including Alpine passes, long individual time trials, and the Mont Ventoux, were quite happy, Phil, over the first part of this race route to have an easy start. The first dummy attack, obviously coming from Alberto Contador, but that was really just for fun.
Yeah, that was for the cameras, I guess, and he went back and dropped back, and then the man that's been showing in the time checks throughout 3 weeks gave him his board and wrote on it a deuxième tour, second tour. Victory, of course.
As they went through the first couple of hours, there were the usual celebratory photographs of the glass of champagne. Not much of that champagne was drunk out on the actual course, because I think everybody realized it was going to be a very fast finish once the race actually got into the heart of Paris. But for about 2 hours in the early part of the day, Phil, it was extremely light-hearted until we got to the end.
Once you're on the Champs-Élysées, and the people who watch here, you've no choice but to turn on the style, because after all, you are the greatest cyclist in the world, and this is the greatest sporting event on an annual basis. Right from the gun, 7 riders go clear, and they made them chase all the way for the whole of, for the best part of the 8 laps.
Yeah, they built themselves up a lead of 35 seconds, but they couldn't go any further away than that. Every now and again, a rider tried to get across the gap, but nobody was going to ruffle the feathers of Columbia HTC. They sat on the front end of the main field, dictating the pace all of the time. Even Lance Armstrong was enjoying his ride around the Champs-Élysées, riding at the front end of the main field and riding himself right up into 3rd place overall at the end of the day. Coming down to the final laps, though, it was still Columbia HTC very much in control at the front end of the peloton.
And Milram also trying to break in for Gerald Cholik. That wasn't to be the case, but there was so much action now that the peloton split, the breakaway rather, split under the pressure. 3 riders trying to hang on in there with a gap of just 10 seconds.
It was down to 3 men, and Mark Cavendish was the one that everybody was trying to follow. Thor Hushovd wasn't scared at all of the reputation of the young man from the Isle of Man and sat straight in his slipstream. But one team decided they had a very good idea on how to beat the men from the Columbia HTC. They were going to set the tempo themselves. The American team, Garmin Slipstream, came up to the front and dictated the pace. However, you can't outfox old George Hincapie, who's ridden the Tour de France on 14 occasions and knows these final 2 bends to perfection.
Hincapie moved to the right, it took Mark Renshaw and Cavendish. Renshaw took Cavendish to the line, then launched him, and he was going so quickly he was winning this by almost a timed gap as he sprinted up to the finish of the Tour de France. 6th stage win for him, and my goodness me, he's now got 10 in 2 years of riding the Tour de France.
And let's not forget his lead-out man, Mark Renshaw, had enough left in the gas field to get himself 2nd on the stage, making it 1-2 for Columbia HTC. A phenomenal performance, not only by Cavendish, but by the team. And of course, let's not forget the man who's won this bike race after 3 weeks of racing, Alberto Contador of Spain, for the 2nd time in his career. 5
more, and he'll be as good as Lance Armstrong. Armstrong himself finishing safely in the field and taking 3rd place. So there we are. All that remains now is to see him on the podium receiving his trophy. That's our Cadillac Performance highlights of the final stage of the Tour de France. There is the result. Well, Cavendish, Renshaw got 1-2. Tyler Farrar did hang on though for 3rd place. Cholik and Hučerović, who's sprinting pretty well, 5th.
A little bit further back, Thor Hushovd in 6th place, Rojas 7th, Bandiera of Lampre in 8th place, Daniele Bernati trying to get his sprinting legs up there in 9th, and the Frenchman William Bonnet of Bouygues Telecom in 10th. Further down, Geoffroy Lecat, not necessarily renowned as a sprinter, in 12th place, and the Colombian sprinter on Team Cofidis, Leonardo Duque, 15th.
All right, well, there's the top 20 for you on screen, but I'm hearing now